I don't know who that is.
Anyway, so I mean, if you go like so high, then you need to know that you have to be happy with less as well. And I think, for example, in my case, I organized the local slams and then the European, then the World Cup. And I was like, what's next? Am I organize a slam in the moon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
galactic
that's it.
poetry slam.
So, and I'm like, okay, I need to relax. I need to go back to local slams or other events because this was too much for me. And I think when you feel like something is too much for you, yeah, you need to start preparing yourself to go back
Yeah, when I
to.
spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, you said that you were exhausted because it had taken up all of your time.
Yeah, yeah. A part of this, it's like many emotions as well, and you have to deal with emotions of like 80 people who were there. So I had a proposal when we started this to get a psychologist for the post-event emotions. Because imagine that these people are maybe, the poets are maybe 20 to 25 years old. So they go to a World Cup, they think that they are the best. Maybe they win, maybe they go last. And what if you go last? You feel like a shit.
Mm,
But because you forget that you arrived because it's not easy to go to the World Cup. So you forget that it's already perfect that you are there. And then you are last and you go back home. But even apart of the competition, you meet people who are poets like you and you have the same interest. So you start speaking just for poetry for 1 week. And then you go back to your country, your friends, they don't give a shit about your
mm,
poetry life. Because these are the friends that you grow up together and you just changed. mm, like on your 20 and you want to be a poet. They don't have to accept it. They don't have. It's your decision. So you go back and you have nobody who wants to listen to you of how the experience goes. So the idea was to have a psychologist for these people who they need like some time to go back in the real life after a big event. We couldn't make it because of budget, but I think there should be like a psychologist for these big events, like even for the Golden Badge. I mean, what do you do with this kid afterward? You
yeah,
need to do a follow up.
I think that it can be life ruining or it can be life
Yeah.
creating, and it depends on the strength of that person. Um, and I suppose the support they've got around them. And then you hear all these stories of if it's young people, then the parents go a bit power crazy, and you hear that with musicians as well. And then they start trying to push them into something and forget about the love that parents are supposed to have. But I spoke to I met her a year or two ago. This lady who was a psychologist for the music industry. So I'm going to invite her on the podcast just because DJs, it's a crazy lifestyle because um,
Many stereotypes as well.
you have you have the late night lifestyle, you have the partying, then you also have being in front of people and getting all that attention and getting all the attention from the opposite sex and everybody coming up to you like, oh my God, you're amazing, you're so amazing. And they're on drugs and then they want to have sex with you. And it's like, it's crazy for those people and the
Yeah.
no sleep and all that. And it's one of these things where I think that if you're launched into fame or notoriety too early without a really solid sense of self and who you are and, you know, some safeguarding mechanisms in place for you, I think that it's going to drive you totally crazy. It's like there's YouTubers now who are like 12, 13, who've got millions of followers, millions. Like even imagine having like 1,000 loyal followers, like say if I released this podcast and I had 1,000 subscribers who listened to all my podcasts, like
Yeah.
1,000 people,
Yeah.
that's a huge, 100 is a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility, 1,000, and then you get 1,000,000 and you have people who don't even know who they are yet and people who don't necessarily know anything about the world. I'm not saying I do, of course not, but I'm saying that there are people who are basically launched into this.
Yeah.
They make one video, it goes viral, they have 1,000,000 subscribers, then they just start making other things. They have people telling them how amazing they are, giving them millions of euros and stuff, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's so crazy.
It's crazy.
And you have, if you're, say you're a fitness model on Instagram, male or female, doesn't matter, and then there's loads of people who are just wanting to copy you, and then your fame is because of your beauty, and then your the especially I think it's worse for women, but then your whole identity becomes being beautiful,
Yeah.
and then how are you ever supposed to live when all people see of you is this beautiful person, male or female? It blows my mind and it scares me because getting famous 20, 30 years ago was relatively difficult. There's less famous people, and you had to kind of, it would be more progressive. You had to start really at the bottom and
Yeah,
move
it's
your way up,
just
and
so
now you
much
can just be
different.
launched into fame.
Yeah.
It's
It
absolute
depends what you
madness.
want, actually. I mean, it depends if you care what people think about you. So if you're gonna start a life based on this, what the others are expecting from you, it depends. Yeah, but many people now they want to be famous in one day.
Do you
And,
want fame?
no, I don't. I no, I want to be free.
Yeah, it
I
is
think
a
yeah,
gift
not
and a curse, I
free.
think. Total gift and a curse. But tell